That's right. We are back. It's your boy Don Julio, my man D, the encyclopedia of wrestling. And today we have a special guest. That's right. The man comes from New York. He served our country. That's right. He did. He's created Marines. He's an athlete. Oh, my God. This man, he's the Radioactive Papi. He's a New Japan superstar. He's also an AEW superstar. My man, Danny Limelight.
Mi gente, what's going on, Rasslin Talk?
Yes.
Hey, Julio, what's good, Papa? Thanks for having me on the show, man. Great introduction. I like the freaking graphics and stuff like that.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm happy to be here, baby.
Thank you, man.
Hey, you're a superstar. We got to hook up a superstar, man. We can't just
man.
we got to hook that up, man.
One day, though. One day.
Hey, you're almost there. So starting off, Danny, thank you for serving this country. We want to acknowledge that. We know that you are a Marine. You were former drill instructor and sergeant. You created over 350 Marines and everything. As a grandson of a Korean War vet, thank you for serving this country, man.
Thank you guys so much for that, man. I appreciate that, man. The Marine Corps was the first real big chapter of my life. 10 years, staff sergeant, drill instructor, Marine Corps martial arts instructor.
Wow.
Corporal's course instructor, Lance Corporal seminar instructor. I did so much in the Marine Corps, and it was a huge part of my life, and it definitely set me up for success. So I'm super grateful for that. So to all the Marines out there, Semper Fidelis, and let's keep doing the right thing, man. Honor, courage, commitment, all the way.
That's awesome. Man. That's awesome.
So you go ahead, man. You go first. Go ahead.
Okay. So watching your interview with the Big Show, you stated that you started watching wrestling in 1997.
Yeah.
So me and Julio were going back and forth, like, man, who or what, it drew you in, this what I want to see. Like, every wrestling fan can relate to that. This is why I watch. So what was your influence getting into pro wrestling?
Well, 97 Bad Blood was Taker and Michaels Hell in a Cell, and that was the match that the first time I watched. That was my dad was watching it. I was watching it with him. And it completely drew me in. I got so invested into it that when Kane came out, I got mad and turned the TV off because I didn't want to see what would happen to Undertaker.
Wow.
I was 6 years old at the time, and my dad smacked me in the back of the head, turned the TV back on. And yeah, man, it's funny. I knew then that I wanted to be a professional wrestler. But New York City, Puerto Rican kid, my teachers told me I couldn't do it. They said you can't make a career out of wrestling. So The Rock and Eddie Guerrero were my biggest influences. The Rock's the man. Eddie Guerrero was the GOAT in my opinion. And he was the first real Latino superstar in my eyes that I had to look up to, So those were the guys that did it for me. I stopped watching wrestling in 2005 when I went to high school because it was a cool thing. I was too busy chasing females and running around the streets and shit like that. So when I started training to be a professional wrestler, that's when I got back into watching wrestling. I never knew what New Japan was or Ring of Honor or independent wrestling. I only knew WWF. So when I started doing it, I was like, holy shit, there's a whole world out there of wrestling. So it was awesome to be able to dive into it as a new fan and learning about, people like Okada, learning about the Ibushi, learning about, Samoa Joes and people like that. That was, AJ Styles and Will Ospreys and all those guys, and then learning about Lucha Underground was another big thing that was popping in 2014. And I just remember, watching Lucha Underground on El Rey Network, holy shit, who's Prince Puma? This guy's insane,
Awesome.
Nice.
It's just all of that, Cero Miedo, when Penta really became a superstar, and Ray Phoenix, it was just.
Hey, that's my dude, man, Penta.
Man, Phoenix and Penta, those are my boys, bro. Those are my hermanos. But that was a whole new world for me. All of that wrestling that was happening, and then obviously learning about Kenny Omega, learning about the Young Bucks, learning about, all the, the Bullet Club and all that stuff. It was just so much, and it was awesome, man.
That's dope,
Yeah,
man.
very, very good, very good. That 6-year-old story reminds me of when Hulk Hogan lost to Ultimate Warrior. At the time, I was a good Hulk Hogan fan, but now,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. He's over there. But yeah, when he lost to Warrior, I was like, oh damn, and I started crying. And then like 6 months later, Sting beat Ric Flair. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But you said you started in 2014 and everything. So what were some of the challenges that you had to face when you started training to be a wrestler? Because first you're Latino, then you got a lot of people, oh, you're not gonna make it. And of course, unfortunately, in the wrestling business at the time, there's a stereotype of Puerto Rican wrestlers have to be in a certain way. Thankfully, those doors are being broken and those stereotypes are being broken. Right. So what struggles did you encounter, or challenges you encountered during that time?
I think for me, I was very arrogant. I was cocky. I was naturally talented. I had the charisma. I had the stuff you can't teach from the beginning, and I never understood the business back then. So I used to take things personal. I used to get upset over shit. I used to beef with people and didn't keep my mouth shut. I was a hothead. So I think that the biggest challenge was knowing to keep my ears open and my mouth shut. That was the first real big challenge. And learning to how to maneuver through the business, how to maneuver through the indies, get bookings, make a name for yourself, things like that. It's something they don't really teach you in school. Or even wrestling training, they don't really teach you that stuff, So that was the biggest problem for me. But after I took 2 years off in 2016, when I came back with a different mentality, a different mindset.
Oh crap! I
think we lost him.
Yeah, I think his thing dropped. Don't worry, folks. This is what happened with live TV.
He's back.
Hey. There we go. Hey,
get out.
You know what? Hey, you know what? Don't feel sorry, Danny. One time, my buddy over here, he forgot to put the background for the whole show, and we didn't realize it towards the end. So you're good, man.
Show, man. That's why.
I don't know what happened. It kicked me out, but I was saying, when I took those 2 years off and I came back with a different mentality, and I came back ready to work, ready to learn. My daughter, I had been a father for a few years already, so I got to mature some more and develop some kind of patience and tact, if you will. Yeah. And my comeback tour was way better than the first time around. So
that's big, man. I know you mentioned earlier Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, but in the wrestling industry, who was your biggest inspiration?
So obviously, Eddie Guerrero and The Rock were my two favorites. Eddie Guerrero is the person that I, relate to the most. I watch his matches the most, and people can see that a little bit of that in my matches now. But when I started training to be a wrestler, and I turned on Monday Night Raw for the first time, Seth Rollins had turned on the Shield. So immediately, I was a Seth Rollins fan. And then I learned about Tyler Black and all his stuff from back in the day. But for me, I was like, oh shit, this guy's dope. So a lot of my stuff that I was doing in the ring, I was trying to, work like how he worked. And, it kind of got me some bookings on the indies and stuff like that. But I think when I came back in 2018, more organic, more authentic to who I am, wanting to really be my own person, develop my own styles, when things really took off for me, especially this last year.
Okay. That's awesome, so we usually encounter people when we tell them we're wrestling fans and we do a wrestling show. That fake stuff. And look, I've been a wrestling fan for almost 30-something years. I take offense to that because I'm like, why don't you step your ass in the ring?
Yeah, they ain't trying to get in the ring. Exactly.
So, Danny, enlighten us on just one day training to become a professional wrestler. Just what you go through.
Well, shit, man. I had really tough training in the Marine Corps, so the physical side of it was easy for me. Conditioning, the endurance. But even still, with all of that training that I had, hitting the ropes, taking my first bump, that shit hurt. I went home, I was bruised on my back. I was sore. My daughter's mom we were married at the time. She didn't understand why I was so broken. She's like, why are you so hurt? You do all this stuff in the Marine Corps. You went to go wrestling and train for 2 hours. Why do you feel this way? And I was just because it hurts. Like, it's not easy.
It's a different kind of hurt.
Yeah, it's a different kind of hurt, man. It's a different beast, man. And like, I listen. In the years that I've been wrestling, I done broke my radial bone. I done separated my shoulder. I done split my head.
Ooh.
Got staples in it. You know, I done had black eyes. You know, tore my MCL. Excuse me, my LCL, my lateral constraint ligament. My ankles. You know, shit like that. It's a lot for sure. You know, but
it's a passion.
Passion.
Yeah, you love it. So, what was the psychological shift? Because at the time you were training, you were still in the Marine Corps, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what was the pivot that you did, you know, psychologically where, okay, I'm in the military and, you know, you have that mindset, but now I'm wrestling. Was there a shift or was there just a continuity flow where you shifted, you know, as far as discipline? Like, okay, I
think that, like, the Marine Corps teaches you to adapt and overcome. And I think so. I did. I just try to adapt to my environment the best I could while staying authentic as me. You know, my motivation is to make it as me. And I'm going to give a shout out to Blast, who's Blast and Mikey Ruckus, the ones that made my AEW theme song. In the song, he says that. He's like, my motivation is make it as me. And that's all I've ever wanted to do is stay true to who I am. I've never been one of the boys. I've never been, you know, one of the ass kissers or none of that shit like that. Like, that's not my style. I've always wanted to be me, stay true to who I am, and get to where I want to go. And it got me this far, man. So I think that it's very important that people recognize real when they see it. And I think that for me, like the discipline that I got from the Marine Corps and that ability to move on the fly, to get up and go, to be on the road, to not be home, to not miss family, things like that, that shit transcended into wrestling very easily. So again, I have to thank the Marine Corps for that. And,
you know, we do have to acknowledge you are one of many superstars that have come out of the quote unquote pandemic era of wrestling.
Yep.
You know, at the time, everyone was talking about, you know, whatever AEW Star and New Japan and, you know, stuff like that. But once the pandemic happened, now it was like, okay, we need to find some other guys that can go. Yeah. And I remember seeing you on AEW Dark. And the first thing that caught me was the Puerto Rican bandana. I was like, "Ooh, we got a Puerto Rican wrestler. Nice. All right, let's see what we can do."
Yeah,
and you know what? I like it because it's original. Santana and Ortiz, they're themselves. You know, that's what I like about wrestling now. That you guys, as Latinos and you know more Puerto Ricans, can be yourselves. You're not. You know, you go back 30 years ago. It was Carlos Colon, and barely mentioned. You know, Pedro Morales. You know, WWF champion. They barely mentioned him. He's a former WWF champion as Puerto Rican. You know, now there's more Latinos, more representation of Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. How does that make you feel? You know, seeing like we're growing.
First of all, shout out to Santana and Ortiz because those are my fucking dudes right there. Those are my boys. Eddie Kingston as well. You know, it's just amazing to be able to look on TV and see so many Latinos and most specifically Puerto Ricans doing it. You know what I'm saying? Doing it for the culture. You know, even at, you know, if you look at WWE, you know, then you got Lince Dorado, you know, you got there's like Carlito had made his return for a little bit.
We were just talking about that too.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
Shredded. Damian Priest is killing right now. Fucking Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's so dope to see like on so many of these programs, even with me at New Japan and like, you know, Homicide and MLW and shit like that, and just, you know, people at Ring of Honor. It's just so many of us everywhere that are doing it. And I think that is very important because we didn't have that growing up. I don't think they did either, really, you know?
Yeah.
Real Puerto Rican superstar, you know what I'm saying? And like, I consider Santana and Ortiz are superstars. They're part of the biggest faction in wrestling right now, in my opinion. They're superstars. Eddie Kingston is a superstar. He's main eventing against, you know, John Moxley on a pay-per-view. He's half Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, you know, when I'm in the ring with John Moxley or Kenny Omega or, you know, countless of the other incredibly talented athletes that I've wrestled on New Japan and at AEW, you know, I'm putting on for my culture. I'm putting on for my people, for mi gente. Like I say, I mean that shit. When I say mi gente, like I mean it. My people, you know, and I have love for my people. So that's why. So it's always amor de mi gente.
That's awesome, man. So what's your mindset going in the ring with like someone like John Moxley?
Oh man, dude. First of all, man, like John's a world traveled superstar. Like, he's that dude, man. And if we go back to when I first started watching wrestling again, like Rollins was my guy, you know, and I never really watched John Moxley as Dean Ambrose. I was never really into it, and there's nothing against him. It was just for me, I was more drawn to Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
But, you know, stepping into the ring with Jon Moxley and seeing just how bad of a dude he is, like, I have so much respect for him. So I want to give him a shout out and his wife. You know, they have that beautiful baby on the way. You know, blessings to the family and shit like that. But, like, you know, you can't really prepare for somebody like Jon Moxley because you don't know what he's gonna do. Like, he's just that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? And,
That's Ryder.
It was on Elevation. We main evented, and man, it was one of my favorite matches ever.
Yeah. So you mentioned Moxley. So you also have faced in AEW Brian Cage, Ray Phoenix, and then in New Japan Strong Kojima.
Yes.
Now those three are totally different styles. So how do you psychologically prepare as far as, okay, I gotta attack this, I gotta attack that? Because Brian Cage is literally like a walking wall.
He's
like,
a machine. He's a machine.
He's beast. You know, so how do you prepare for each opponent and different promotions? You know, how do you prepare for that?
Well, if you look at the people that I've wrestled, you know, whether it's Kojima, Brian Cage, Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita, Ray Phoenix, Jon Moxley, like these Rocky Romero, you know, feuds with guys like Brody King, like all these different super athletes that have all these different styles and all these different companies. And it's, for me, it's very important to be able to get in the ring with any of them and be able to steal the show. And I feel like when people watch my matches on Elevation, on Dark, or my Dynamite debut against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, or on New Japan Strong, or on the, you know, United Wrestling Network, or wherever they're watching me at, right? They see what I do. They see the work that I put in. They see me, you know, the Brian Cage match was probably the first it was a 5-minute singles match. I think it was one of the best 5-minute single matches in a long time, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying it because I'm in it, but if you watch it, there's a story in there and all that, and it's 5 minutes long. And he was like, that match with Brian Cage was one of the first matches that really got me in the right eyes at AEW. It's like, oh shit, like, you know, and it was in front of a live crowd right before Dynamite started. So like a dark match before Dynamite had kicked off. So there was live crowd there. And then I walked the rope and I hit a springboard Canadian Destroyer.
Ooh.
And I just hear the crowd react. And obviously it wasn't as big of a crowd as I was wrestling in front of a week ago or so against Evil Uno.
Actually, I love that match. That was awesome.
Just hearing that, I was like, oh shit, like I belong here. You know what I'm saying? And then I wrestled Ray Phoenix, which was like another match that really elevated my game and really got people seeing me go back and forth with one of the best luchadors in the world. And then we both walk the ropes and we're trading shots on the ropes, you know, and then I get the best of him. And then right when I think I got him, he hits me with a super kick and his fucking crazy old deal thing. And it was like, oh shit, like this kid, who is Danny Limelight? You know, like I seen the tweets, I seen the messages. It was insane, you know. Then you talk about, you know, my match with Kojima, a legend in professional wrestling, and of course New Japan. And he's been wrestling probably longer than I've been alive. You know,
all of us collectively.
Yeah. So like, and he's in the best shape. He's in amazing shape. Yeah. He's in amazing shape, and he hits me with his clothesline. I avoid one, and he comes back and catches me with the left, turns me inside out. And as I'm in the air, I'm thinking, did I leave the stove on? You know, like that's how I felt. I was like, oh shit, like this is happening right now. And way I prepare for it, man, just being me, man, being the radioactive Papi, having that radioactive genealogy, just being able to hang with the best of them, being able to do lucha if I need to do lucha, being able to wrestle if I need to wrestle, being able to strike if I need to strike, grab if I need to grab, or fly if I need to fly. I could do it all, man. And there's not that many wrestlers that can do that, let alone on top of the wrestling side of stuff, can talk. And I could do that too. And people haven't really got to see that yet. Unless they're watching New Japan Strong or United Wrestling Network, they haven't really seen me talk because I haven't had a chance to really spit my shit at AEW.
Yeah, now I seen one match you had with Slice Boogie. And for people who are watching, you need to keep an eye on that dude. I seen him give a promo on NWA Power. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, who's this dude? Like, wait a minute. This dude.
Slice Boogie's my tag partner at the United Wrestling Network now. He's part of the Bodega. So shout out to Slice Boogie and the other Bodega member, Papo Esco. Slice is killing it on NWA right now. But yeah, man, like it's just being able to talk and stuff like that. It's a rare talent to find these days. You can't teach it.
And you know what? As a wrestling fan, it's refreshing because it's been so many years that we really haven't had organic, authentic talkers on a main platform where they're not scripted. It's like, oh man, this dude, he's the real deal. Like, nah, this dude's script. Like, nah.
And New Japan Strong, I'm part of Team Filthy with Tom Lawler and JR Kratos, right? And I do most of the talking in those backstage promos. And none of it is, it's all me. You know, I say what I want. I'm the Filthy Papi. Like, I believe that shit. Tom Lawler, he's the tap. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he has me on his team for a reason. So it's just, I take a lot of pride in being able to talk. I think
nice.
You know, because the reason why I was so drawn to The Rock was because he was an amazing talker. He could talk to the building. You know, and I think it's very important for people to be able to sell a match with their mouth.
And that's old school. That's how they did it, you know, in the 80s, you know, 76, you know, since the beginning of wrestling, they talked the crowd in. So my next question is, you were at Double or Nothing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Describe to us how that crowd was, because I was watching it live, and I'm like, I do not want to see anything with. I don't want to see any wrestling with screens or anything like that. Please give me fans reacting to stuff in the ring. You know, describe to us how that felt.
Man, it was insane. It was insane. That's literally the only thing that I can say is that it was an insane.
Whoa! We see that.
Did you see that shit?
Yes,
man.
Birds. I got birds flying. You know what I'm saying?
That's that radioactiveness, man.
Yeah,
I think that's good luck.
Yeah.
That's good luck, right? I think that is.
I don't know. I thought that shit was gonna take my ear off, but it should go Mike Tyson me. But, it was just incredible, man. It was incredible. It was an incredible feeling. I got goosebumps watching it. I got goosebumps thinking about it right now. And then being able to perform in front of that crowd that, you know, that following week, you know, wrestling Evil Uno, it was amazing, man.
How was that, by the way?
Insane. Once my music said "Mi gente," and my name popped up on the screen, and the crowd like reacted, and I got like a little pop or whatever, my first like actual pop, you know, like, man, there's no better feeling.
Okay. So now my next question is, with the whole pandemic and everything leading up to, you know, Double or Nothing and everything, how did you, as far as training, because I know a lot of people who were working out before the pandemic, they had a routine, and then everything just stopped. Like, did your training, did you alter your training, or did it like change, or did it just keep going the same?
Well, honestly, man, like my roommate and I, we kind of took to the home workouts. I had weights and stuff like that already, and we would, like, you know, clang and bang. That bird is back. we would clang and bang, and like I would go out to the parks. There's a park around the corner, and I do the calisthenic stuff, you know, the pull-ups, the dips, the push-up explosions, where I lift my body off the ground. I would run. I was in amazing shape. I have a pool here, so like I was swimming for cardio, you know, like it didn't slow me down. If anything, I turned it into my own little hyperbolic time chamber and just really grinded, you know, really made the most of it. And so when New Japan had called me to come make my debut, I was in good shape. I was ready to hit the ring. I didn't need to knock off any rust. And then from New Japan, it went straight to AEW. You know, it was all go time for me. Like, there was no need for me to like, oh, I need to hit the gym. Oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, I need to do this and that. Nah, I was ready.
So what advice would you give someone trying to get in the wrestling industry?
Especially now.
So for people that want to get into the wrestling industry, man, tell them, man, like, forget about the haters. You know, forget about people that don't believe in you, the doubters. If you want something as bad as you want to breathe, you will be successful. If you grind hard every day and you put all your energy into it and you genuinely have a passion for it and it's authentic and you stay true to who you are, you'll make it anywhere. Nobody can stop you. You're your biggest enemy. You are the only person that can stop you. No matter what anybody says, they can laugh at it, or they can think it's silly, or, you know, they can make fun of you for wrestling at an indie show for $20. And then years later, you're wrestling for thousands. And now what? You know what I'm saying? So just grind, want it as bad as you want to breathe, put the work in, trust your gut, believe in yourself, block the haters, like my boy Fred Rosser says.
There you go.
Yes. So my next question is, with your training and everything, like, how much Puerto Rican food did you eat and stuff like that?
Oh, man, I always eat Puerto Rican food. Listen, I'm not.
And what type?
I'm not the person you come to for diet plans or like nutrition stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm going to eat some arroz con habichuelas, chuletas, tostones, plátanos, maduro, pernil, empanadas. Like, I'll be stuffing my face. And then When I'm done eating that, then I'll order Buffalo Wild Wings, and I get, five medium and peppers with fries. And then, I go open a bottle of Hennessy and I take that to the face with some Red Bull. You know what I'm saying? I'm the worst person to talk to about nutritional shit.
You sound like a real Chicago dude.
Yes.
I'm a real New York dude. I'm a real New Yorker. Look.
There you go. Shouts out to New York.
Danny, I gotta tell you, you would fit right in Chicago.
I come out there. All the Chicago promoters book me. Hit my DM.
Yes.
Hit my email.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let's make something happen.
And we got you with some Chicago food too, courtesy of Home Team Pizza. We're gonna give you some pizza if you ever slide through Chicago.
Oh, I need to try that Chicago pizza because I heard you guys think it's better than New York.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So here's the thing, Daddy. No. So you probably heard of our deep dish pizza, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna break a myth on here. That's tourist food. Us locals, we eat the tavern style.
Yeah, we
keep that deep. Look, that deep dish, we usually save it for people who come from out of town or it's office parties.
Let them pay for that.
I feel it.
Because that pizza, man, you can't eat like, a few slices. Like you can only eat one slice because it's too thick.
Yeah, nah, yeah. I feel it.
You got some more questions, D?
Actually, one that I'm really interested in is with so many inner city kids watching wrestling, and it's been proven that whatever city you're in, most wrestling fans are in the inner city. That's their escape from whatever's happening on the streets and stuff like that. I know with me, growing up in West Humboldt Park, I wasn't involved in gangs or anything, but I had that element around me. Right. And I could have easily went in there, and usually wrestling is that, that escape from, okay, I can escape out of here. Man, what advice do you got for those kids that may be watching wrestling, but then, they might be have negative influence and stuff like that? Like, what would you tell them, if they're watching right now?
I would tell them that I was one of those kids. I was a street rat. I did a lot of street stuff and a lot of shit that, I shouldn't have been doing. But what I will say is that, like, that shit gets old after a while, man. I barely go back home anymore because I outgrew it. But when I do, I see everybody doing the same shit. I left home in 2009. We're 2021. So what is that, 12 years later? People are still doing the same shit. You need to outgrow that shit. You're a statistic. You're the average of who you surround yourself with. That's the statistic you want to be. But the sad news is that usually that average, people surround themselves with the wrong type of people. So those statistical numbers, when people say, oh, you're just another statistic, because we go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Like everybody else before us. And we become the average of all the shitheads around us. But if you surround yourself with people that are grinding, that are on the right path, that are trying to make something, trying to get out the hood, trying to make, create generational wealth, break generational cycles. That's what I do with my daughter all the time. I'm trying to break that generational cycle. My pops was a dope dealer. I say it all the time. He was a dope dealer. I'm not there no more. My daughter, she's 7 years old. She made 20-some thousand last year. 7 years old, off commercials and shit like that. We breaking generational cycles here, creating generational wealth.
Preach, brother, preach.
If I could do this shit, man, anybody could get their ass up off the streets and go make some of themselves. And if you need a head start, or if you need like a push start or a kick start or some motivation to do it, the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, and the fucking Air Force are always hiring, and you get a guaranteed paycheck and benefits when you leave that shit. You can start there, do 4 years, get out, and then you'll have those 4 years are going to transform you so much and put you so far ahead of your peers that you can go on and your work ethic will be so different that you'll be able to go on and do anything you want to do. So to all my real ones out there, my street kids, my street rats, have your fun. Stay out of trouble, though. Don't get locked up. I hear the sirens right now where I'm at.
Yeah.
Get off. We hear it too.
Get off the street. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Hey, it's the same thing in Chicago, man.
So what's next for Danny Limelight?
That's a good question, man. I wish I knew. I got a movie right now in post-production. It's called Joe Rib that I wrote, produced, starred in, stunt choreographed, stunt coordinated. It's in post-production. We're about to submit it to film festivals. We've already been accepted to one actually in Vegas. So that's awesome news. This week coming, June 18th and 19th, I'm wrestling at FSW in Las Vegas.
Okay.
for their anniversary show. I'm in the 30-man Rumble the night before, and the night 2 I'm wrestling for the championship. So I'll be there. I got, a lot of things coming on the pipeline. I'm always grinding. What's next for me, man? I want to be a household name. I want to be a superstar. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I want to do it by being me. However long that process is, I'm willing to put in the work. That's the difference.
Well, you're definitely a superstar, man.
Yes.
Anyone that serves our country and, does stuff like that, it's a superstar in my eyes, man.
Appreciate
that
it.
and building generational wealth for your 7-year-old daughter, that is amazing and needs to be commended, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, man. Being a father is definitely
shout out to my daughter, Khaleesi Rivera. I love you 3,000, baby. If you're listening to this, go follow my daughter on Instagram at Leesi Rivera, Rivera. She's a superstar. She just did a commercial for McDonald's. Like, she's rocking and rolling, man.
Damn.
Nice.
I need to be like her.
Man, you gotta extend your name Radioactive Papi to Radioactive Entrepreneur Papi. Hey, put it there, man.
Put any adjective in front of the word Papi, and that's me.
Yes. So Julio, you ready for the
let's
dream matches?
Man. So before we get out of here, man, every show we do dream matches. Limelight, you see that? The real Danny Limelight here. Radioactive Papi.
The real one.
So Danny, because you are our guest and we enjoy your work, thank you for just performing during the pandemic. I know for me it meant more for me because my dad almost died during the pandemic. It wasn't COVID or anything. He was dealing with myasthenia gravis, which weakens the muscles, and he was battling diverticulitis, which they managed to take care of it, and his lungs collapsed. So he almost died. So what took my mind off it was wrestling, and just more specifically AEW and AEW Dark. And coming across your matches, I was like, oh man, this guy's pretty good. So that was able to take my mind off of everything. Thankfully, he's on the road to recovery and everything.
I'm glad. I hope he gets a full recovery, man.
Yes, we are believing that and praying for it. So we have you in 2 unique dream matches.
Oh yeah.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
You want to go first or me first?
No, you go first, Julio.
Oh man, you always let me go first. All right. Cool.
Hey, I'm a gentleman. There you go.
So dream matches, we do this every week, and the matches that we'd like to see, and this one right here, man. This one catches my eye right here.
Oh shit.
My man, Danny Limelight versus Xavier Woods. Yeah, what do you feel about this, Papi?
Oh man, first of all, shout out to Xavier Woods. You know what I'm saying? X is so charismatic. He's so different. He's so authentic to who he is that I respect him for that alone. You know what I'm saying? He's a gamer. Yeah. His gear's always fresh. You know what I'm saying? The dude is built different. You know what I'm saying? I've been a huge fan of Xavier Woods for a long time, and I would love to wrestle him. I think that shit would be dope. I never even thought. Honestly, I never even thought that one. So that's a good one right there.
Well, let's make it happen sometime.
Yes.
Cool. We
and his 2 guys, they got terrific and outstanding charisma. So it would be entertaining.
Yep, for sure. He's dope, man.
So we got D's turn right here, man. Ooh, this is a good one too, man. This one's probably possible. Ooh, yes.
Papi.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You know what's crazy, bro, is that like as soon as he popped up, everybody on Twitter was like Limelight versus Andrade, Limelight versus Andrade, Limelight versus Andrade. And then people were like Limelight and Andrade, Limelight and Andrade.
Hey.
So man, he's a Latino superstar. We talk about Latinos that are superstars putting on for the culture. He's, he calls himself the face of Latino wrestling. I respect him for it. I commend him for it. He's done a lot for the business, done a lot for Latinos everywhere. He's a phenomenal athlete, and that shit right there will be a fucking banger.
Yes. And I don't want to see one match. I want to see multiple matches over a title, because seeing your repertoire and just how you perform and seeing his work, that's like, I ain't changing the channel. I'm just going to sit here, whatever drink I got, and just enjoy 15, 20 minutes, go an hour.
Hey, man, like you said, with him or against him, I want to see it, man.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Man, well, it was a pleasure having you on, Dan.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, man. This shit was dope, man. First of all, Don, Julio, D, I appreciate y'all for having me on the show. Rasslin Talk, this shit was dope. I had a lot of fun with y'all. For everybody listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you guys, follow me on Instagrams. Follow me on Twitter at Danny Limelight. ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight. I got so many cool shirts, including this one right here, Limelight Productions, for my own production company where I write and produce my own films. Cameo.com/Danny Limelight. I see in the comments somebody said Danny Limelight versus Myron Reed. That's another banger that we should get happening somewhere. somewhere across America.
Shouts out to Matt Ward too.
And just, you know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. All the love, the amor, the love. Amor de mi gente. I appreciate y'all. I can't do it without y'all. Wrestling Talk, we got to run this back soon, man.
Appreciate
yes.
you, boss.
Hey, we got to represent the Latinos. You know, I'm Puerto Rican and black. Julio, you're Mexican and Guatemalan. Hey, we got to represent. We got to put over, you know, our own that's popping. So, man, thank you so much for giving us the time and opportunity to interview you, man. It won't be the last time.
It won't be the last time. ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight. You heard me?
Appreciate you, man. Actually, they're in Chicago, so I might slide over there and get a shirt.
Yes, they're with us.
I got a new one. I got a new one out there right now. It's the Radioactive Papi one. It's like a little cool little design. You know, my boy Naol made it. Shout out to Nav. He always hooks up my designs. All my shirts on there match all the new J's that are dropping. I make sure I cut accordingly with the J's. So, you know what I'm saying? If you like to get fresh, wear it to the club, wear it to the strip club especially. Wear it wherever you going, wear it to church, wear it, you know what I'm saying? And show love, spread love, clap for everybody until it's your turn to be clapped for. Never be a hater. And I appreciate everybody that shows love.
Appreciate you,
okay,
boss.
so when you come through Chicago and you want to hit up a night spot, I know a few people. So
say less.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
I got you with the pizza, man.
That works for me too. That works for me too.
Cool, man. Appreciate you. Have a good night, man, and blessings to you, my boss.
Blessings.
Danny Limelight.
Yes.
Radioactive Papi here on Rasslin Talk. Man, that was fun.
Yes, and you know what's kind of disappointing?
What's up?
I'm getting this whiff of anchovy meat through my window of this whole thing, man.
Well, you better go get yourself some food, man, before it runs out, man.
I know, man.
If you guys missed the show, it's okay. We're gonna post the clips on our website later. We're gonna post them on Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff, man. But man, what an honor it was to have this guy on here, man.
Yes, very good, very good. Representing Latinos and Puerto Ricans and just doing his thing and being himself, original. And man, it's so awesome for the culture.
Cool, man. Well, you guys already know Rasslin Talk every Saturday. Today was a special start time, you know, due to the time concerns over there. He's in California, I believe, California. Let me get it right. California today, and we're in Chicago, so it's a little time difference. So, but next week we're on at 7:00. Don't miss it. Rasslin Talk.
Yes,
follow us.
We got a guest.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
DJ Enigma, the villain.
Yeah, the villain is stopping by.
Yes.
We're going to be talking wrestling with him. So you guys don't want to miss that here. Rasslin Talk. Follow us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's very important.
We out.
We out, D. Peace.